We have a very special treat for you today. We're here at Playacar Phase 2, and we're going to be touring a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot unit right here on the ground floor with a direct walkout to the beautiful pool. You're going to see in a second, this pool is absolutely gorgeous. It features hammocks, lawn chairs, and is surrounded by vegetation. The unit itself has top-rate finishes, and the building overall just has some of the best amenities that I've seen in all of Playa del Carmen. It's got a gym with more weights than almost any gym that I've seen in Playa. It's got a sauna. It's got a business room. It also features a double rooftop pool with a beautiful barbecue area and lounge area. And also included with the condo fees here is golf cart service all around Playacar, including directly to the beach, including beach club access through the reef. My name's Chris Fisher from Paradise Homes, and follow me as we enjoy this beautiful tour that we have for you today. We're here in Playacar Phase 2, which is a gated community right beside downtown Playa del Carmen. And what's so unique about it is, first of all, the proximity to downtown as well as the beach. It's not the only gated community in Playa, but it's one of the oldest, one of the most well-established, and it also has that aspect of proximity. So you can walk to the beach from just about any part of Playacar Phase 2. Towards the north side of it, you can easily walk to downtown Playa del Carmen as well. The prices tend to be a little bit higher on that side because of that proximity. But that's one thing that really makes it stand out as far as gated areas of Playa del Carmen. And if you're coming from the US, you know, there's a lot of suburbs obviously in the US, but the fact that you have wide roads, the fact that the driving is very easy, that's not the way downtown Playa del Carmen was built. And of course, the walkability of Playa is one of the things that makes it so great. But I think a lot of people enjoy the fact of being able to come into an area like this at the end of the day, and you're still within very close proximity of all the things that makes Playa del Carmen great. So this area was actually built around a golf course, which we just walked past one area of golf course. And the wildlife here, that's one thing that I love about it. I actually lived here in Playacar Phase 2 for 1 year myself, and the wildlife that we saw here is just completely unparalleled anywhere else in Playa del Carmen. So they have these things they call Mexican raccoons. They're actually called cuatis, and it's kind of like a mongoose. They actually eat snakes and they eat scorpions. I once saw a cuati eat a scorpion. There are also a lot of these little creatures called sereques, which is like a rodent. Some people say it looks like a small pig. Other people say it's like a capybara, which I believe are more common in Australia. But you see a lot of them. They usually run around solo, and they're not a threat to anyone. They're not dangerous, but they're just really cool to look at. Playacar Phase 2 also has Mayan ruins, which I'm going to show you here in a second. Now, I don't know exactly what this is. It's not the biggest Mayan structure that they have in Playacar Phase 2, but there are a lot of little things like this if you explore the area. Tons of ruins, tons of cool stuff to find. One thing that's worth mentioning as I walk around this area is just how safe it all feels, okay? No matter what time of day or night it is, no matter who you are, whether you're alone or not alone, you just feel very safe. And a lot of that is due to the fact that access into Playacar is controlled by security. So if you don't live here, if you don't have a reason for being here, they make it very difficult to get in. And You know, Mexico is a lot safer than a lot of people realize, but I'd say this takes the cake in terms of how safe and how free you feel. It's actually one of the few areas that I've seen parents let their kids roam around unsupervised, whether that's in parks or whether that's playing ball or just running around the streets. Not something you see in other parts of Mexico as much, but you see it quite a bit here, so definitely worth mentioning and worth appreciating. Got Mayan ruins, you have beach access, you have palm trees everywhere. It really is an incredible lifestyle. And having lived here for a year, I can tell you that living here long term is just as awesome as being here for a short period of time. So I'm gonna take you inside my office now. We're gonna look at some numbers in terms of what you can expect in rental income and what the price of a unit like that would actually cost, as well as what other units that developer still has available in the building. So let's go take a look. All right, so we're gonna break down some numbers here in a second. First, I wanna show you which units are still available in the development. So out of 109 total units, there are currently only 8 left for sale. So here they are. The one we just toured is unit E111. So it's a ground floor unit, 2 bed, 2 bath, list price of 8.2 million pesos. All the other units, the 7 others, are all bigger, slightly more expensive. One thing worth mentioning here, all the ground floor units, so where it says nivel, if the nivel is 1, those are ground floor units. They all have direct access from the parking lot into the unit. So what that means is you don't have to go through any lobby or up any elevator stairs or through any common areas. It's really nice because you can just get out of your car and just walk directly into your unit from the outdoors. The building is set up that way with the parking lots lining the side of the development with that direct access to units. That's a pretty cool feature. It's not that common. In that sense, it's more of a townhouse in terms of the privacy that you enjoy versus an apartment where usually you're going through a lot of common areas. Not the case here. So the list price at the current exchange rate, which is 17 pesos per dollar, translates to about 482,000 USD. Closing cost, about 6%. That includes everything, including setting up your trust, paying your lawyers, etc. Assuming 6% works out to 29,000. The unit comes unfurnished, so furnishing at the high end can run you back about 10K, which gives us a total upfront cost of about 521,000. Now, we're going to break down the projected long-term rental income and ROI, as well as the short-term rental income and ROI. Units like this, with this exact layout, are currently renting for 53,000 pesos per month, and that's for furnished units. You could end up with a little bit more if you spend 10K on the furnishing, but actual units that I've seen are renting for this much, which gives us $37,200 per year. And let's not assume it's going to be occupied all year. Sometimes it might take you a little bit of time to find a tenant. Let's assume 90% occupancy, which means that it's vacant for just over 1 month out of every year. It doesn't have to be the case. You can, if you have a tenant, you can find the next tenant while it's still rented, but prefer to be conservative here. So brings us to $33,480 of income per year. Subtract the building HOA fees, which are $397 per month for this unit. Subtract the property tax, which again is low. If you've seen my other videos, 0.1% per year. Property manager is going to take, so this is if you want to take your hands off completely. Let's say you're not in Playa del Carmen. You don't want to have to find tenants. You don't want to have to visit the site. So to basically automate it, you're giving up 1 month's rent in exchange for that service. So that's about $3,100 per year. And your annual bank trust fee, subtract that as well, gives you a net income of $24,616 per year with a long-term rental. Now, I also calculated a short-term rental scenario. This is where it gets a little bit more nuanced. Okay, so the literature provided by the developer estimates an annual rental income short-term of $60,500 per year. The way they do that is by taking the nightly rate or the weekly rate and then multiplying it by the projected occupancy to arrive at this number. I prefer to use real data. Okay, so I have a software called AirDNA, which actually scrapes the short-term rental platforms such as Airbnb, Booking, Vrbo, HomeAway, it scrapes those sites and pulls out real data in terms of what real units are actually earning. So in this case, we found one unit that's pretty much equivalent to this one. So we'll take a look, and it looks like it was not rented for the entire year. It's likely that the owner probably used it for a vacation or two. But if it had been available for the whole year, AirDNA is projecting $37,800 of annual income. The actual number based on the usage and the availability was just under 32K. Now, so this is the listing. So this is the actual listing, which generates 37.8 thousand per year. This is the listing right here. So looks like a pretty new listing. It only has 7 reviews. It does have a 5-star rating, which is not a surprise. As you can see, the amenities are what we just saw in the tour. The layout is equivalent. It just looks like basically a mirror image of the layout. We've got our amenities, and looks like this building also has a pretty cool looking kids area. So right now, as I film this, it's late August, so low season, and they're charging $176 per night. For comparison's sake, the developer suggests a price of $270 a night. So we're a little bit under the projection now, but I believe the occupancy it looks like the occupancy for this unit, for this actual listing, seems to be more than 60%. So lower price, higher occupancy, bit of a trade-off here. If we move forward now to the peak season, it's already booked up for this unit, which does suggest to me that they're pricing it pretty low. And if we see what they're pricing in early January, only $271 per night, I think that's slow. I would be charging more money for this listing. And the developer suggests a price of $350. So $271 to $350. I'd probably be in the low 300s if this was my unit. Again, I prefer to use real data. So this is real data from a real listing, which was just pulled from AirDNA, which gives us an annual income gross of $37,800, which, as we've just looked at, it could be higher, but this is real, bottom line. So we subtract projected cleaning fees, we subtract the HOA, subtract the property tax, property manager. Again, if you want to take your hands off and have someone else run it, it's going to be about 20%. Subtract that as well. Subtract your bank trust fee. Gives us a net income per year just over $23,000, which is a net ROI of about 4.5%, and the gross ROI here is just over 7. So a little bit more income in terms of the short-term rental, and a little bit more expenses as well, because you're now paying 20% for a property manager. So depending on how you run it, just to reiterate, these are real numbers. So we've now toured the unit, we've toured the development, all the amenities. We've gone around Playacar Phase 2. I've showed you the area. We've seen which units are still left. There are only 8 left out of 109 total. And we've looked at some different scenarios of how much income you could expect. Long-term rental, short-term rental, which again, short-term rental also gives you the flexibility to use the unit whenever you want. You simply have to just block out the dates in your short-term rental platform. And then you just go up, you visit, you show up and use your unit. Basically have a vacation, which is in your own unit where you don't have to pay for a hotel or an Airbnb. So if you are interested in learning more about this unit, if you want to tour this unit, either in person or virtually, send me an email, get in touch with me. You can reach me at info@paradisehomes.mx. I'd love to hear from people. I'd love to meet you. Even if you're still looking for your ideal property, your ideal home or an investment or something you want to visit for part of the year and rent out for part of the year. We specialize in helping people find their ideal property based on their situation. So also get in touch with me, info@paradisehomes.mx. I look forward to meeting you soon, and I also hope to meet you soon and see you right here in Playa del Carmen. Cheers.